Oh, Shivaya. So, where have we stopped? We stopped at the sloka 33.
33.
Yes, 33 and 34 we said is to be understood in conjunction. He said, Bhagavan said, all these practices, whatever I have explained to you, one who practices the best means the devotion only for the sake of devotion, the one who is doing that absolute devotion kind of yoga and seeks union with me, these powers have been called, that means the powers which we were explaining about the sidhis. These are called obstacles and things that cause waste of time. So, when a person is doing tapsya, or when a person is devoted, when the question of devotion is there, automatically that is understood. Devotion should be specifically to the one to whom the devotion is being done, and devoted to that unit, whichever unit you are devoting to. Should be that's the principle. When it is devotion, devotion is giving, devotion is that it is absolute surrender, absolute samarpana bhava. From there only the devotion can be derived and arrived. When that is the case of devotion, how can there be a contradictory action of siddhi? Siddhi is to receive, devotion is to give. So when you are giving, when you are devoting, how can one have the question of siddhi? So that itself is a contradictory proposition. But then what happens? In the process of, like when you are boiling milk, in the process of boiling the milk, the water in that gets evaporated first, because the temperature, whenever it reaches that, being the solution, being two different things which has got two different melting points or evaporating points, two are different evaporating points. The water gets evaporated first. That's why the milk becomes thicker when the milk is boiled. So it's a siddhi. The water being evaporated is a siddhi, it automatically happens. We are not boiling milk for the purpose of water being to boil the water. But water gets boiled and evaporated. In the process of boiling the milk, and the milk remains same. But if you do the boiling of milk only for the purpose of evaporating the water, then it is called as a siddhi, working for siddhi. But in the process of boiling, automatically the water gets evaporated. So Bhagavan is saying that if you are thinking that this is for this purpose I am doing it, it will be an obstacle and things that are waste of time. In the process of doing, that's what they say. When you have studied, when you are writing an examination, you will get the result. Whatever you have written, you will pass. That's all. If you write an examination only to pass, then there will be a lot of disappointments. Those are siddhis. For passing out the examination, you want to write. The purpose itself is totally different. So without understanding also you can write and you will pass. But you will not be a learned. You will pass the exam, but you will not be a learned one. You can buy the question paper, answer paper, and can also give examination. So whatever you are doing, you have to do it honestly. That means only for that purpose. See, it's a great lesson, even though we all know this and we all take it very lightly. We all know this. There's nothing very. Is it not? This what is it? Who doesn't know this? If I am doing devotion, you should be absolutely. This we are hearing from childhood. We don't give any importance to it. I want you to give importance to it is why I've taken that subject. Why? Because we do not understand the right meaning of this. Even though we heard, we know only the literal meaning of it, but we don't know what is the right meaning of it, is why most of the difficulties in our life. Most of the difficulties in our life. Here we are talking only about the tapsya, devotion, attaining the Brahman. The same thing should be transmitted even to the lowest level of activity what I am doing. If I am reading a book, I should be devoted to that. I should be engrossed in that. I should become the subject of the book. Then only I will have the knowledge of it. I will know about it. Otherwise also one can read the book. Otherwise also one reads the book. There are so many people, we are all reading it. Everybody reads it. Who becomes that subject, that what is printed there, is called devotion. When I say Ishvara, praying to Ishvara, I consider myself first. I am only considered about me. I am never considering the Ishvara to whom I am praying to. This is a fact. When you are praying to, the Ishvara is the important one, because you are praying to the Ishvara. You are surrendering to Ishvara. You are submitting yourself to Ishvara, because Ishvara is the one who can contain you, and you cannot contain the Ishvara. So you surrender to the Ishvara and Ishvaratva. So when you are doing the prayers to the Ishvara and to the Ishvaratva, you should have the anubhuti and anubhava of the surrender and the samarpana and the merging of the Ishvara. Then only the bhakti is pure, the devotion is pure. There the rituals may not be important. That's why at that point of time, the rituals are not important. Because you don't know what to do at that time. Because you are not there. When you are there, then only you will be doing certain rituals. You yourself should not be there. It's the principle. That's called the devotion. So if I do the devotion is not only for what is the meaning of that? Why this subject itself has been derived? Because, hey Uddhava, when you are doing the tapasya to me, don't do tapasya for the purpose of sidhis, but only devote on me, and then only you can attain me, hey Uddhava. This is what you have to learn, teach the people, is what he is telling. But when you all do only for the siddhis, naturally you are not attaining me, you will attain only the siddhi. And these siddhis are temporary, because the siddhi, the one who is received, siddhi means what? That recipient, that what you receive. When you receive something, when you attain something, or when you receive something, when you attain something or receive something, what happens? The impact of the receipt or the impact of the attainment retains with you only so long as the body and the mind remains. The moment the body and mind is gone, that is also gone. Not only that, most of them have the earlier expiry date. If you do not do the right practice, that is lost. Even if you do wrong practice, that is lost. No? So, even if you do practice also, certain things get lost even before that. No? They have got certain periods where it can be utilized in certain matters, till the body and the mind is remaining. You are not attaining liberation again. You are bound by another activity of yours. Instead of living so many other things, you are bound by some other activity and you are born again in the next Janma in order to fulfill that karma and karma phala. So, hey Uddhava, when somebody is devoted to me, he should only totally, in all respects, without any expectation. The expectation comes only, there's a big secret in this small word. We all pray with an expectation. God will give us this, God will produce us this. God will bless this, God will moon this, God will this. That is called the sidhis. No, asuras are all doing tapsya only for getting something. That's the asura. Even in the human beings also, when they do the prayers, when they do the tapasya, when they do the puja, they are doing it only for the purpose of getting something. When you are doing it, that becomes a attainment of siddhi. This is what is called siddhi. So in that siddhi, all this whatever we have spoken, they are all covered, even though they seem to be, you will get impressed that a man can fly, a man can do paragaya pravesham, a man can see what cannot be seen, what's heard, hear, what others cannot hear. All this, then we will say that, oh, he is he has got supernatural powers. Well, they are supernatural powers, no doubt about it, but he has supernatural powers, but he is not a Brahma Sakshatkari. He is not a jnani in 100%. He is not known as a jnani. He is a siddha. Siddha is correct. He is a siddha, no doubt about it. There are siddhas, he is a siddha, one of the siddhas. If that is not the purpose of doing all this, advising all this, hey Uddhava, why I am saying all this thing is that not for attainment of siddhis. If you want to attain the siddhis, this is not the way, but in the process of tapasya, in the process of samarpana and the yoga towards me, in the process of devotion to me, samarpana to me, attainment of me, what happens is that during this process, these siddhis are a part of it as the water boils and evaporates in the milk at 100 degrees. Nobody has to specifically ask for the water to boil and water to evaporate. It's an automatic process during the process of making it. Same way, the siddhis you attain, the person who is coming to yoga towards me, the one who is trying to attain me, should have all the qualities that I have. And I am the Yoga Yogeshwara. Bhagavan says, I am the Yoga Yogeshwara. I am the supreme of all yogas. So when I am the supreme of all yogas, the one who is merging into me should have all these qualities, then only he can become one with. It's not my preference. It is not a qualification, it's not my preference. It's by nature, the same density of material only can be mixed together, otherwise it will not get mixed. Oil cannot be mixed with water, it will always be floating because two densities are different. Same way, if it has to yoga, means it has to be mixed, it has to be merged, it has to be diluted into it. It has to be vanished into it. The remainance should not be there. It has to be totally merged into it. So in order to merge into it, what should be the quality of it? It should be same as Ishvara. So, therefore, when you are doing the yoga, process of yoga towards the merging of the Ishvara, all these of qualities of siddhis, because he is a Yogeshwara, all these siddhis will be part of you. So you don't have to specifically learn or attain one siddhi. This is the mistake what many times Brahma says to the asuras, why you are doing such a tapasya? For all these years you do tapasya only for what? Only for this, for a particular cause. Had you been doing the same tapasya for merging with the Ishvara, by the time you would have got all the siddhis of the world, universe in you by now. What is the lesson? Even though this is meant for sannyasis, sannyasi means the one who are ready to do the meditation, tapsya, and then attain the Brahma Sakshatkaram. It is meant for those people, even though it is meant for those people. In order to attain this status, how can a sannyasi become a total devotee and then do samarpana and then become a yogi with the Yogeshwara? How can he become? He has to practice it from the day one he is born in this world. No? What is that? In each and everything, you should have the qualification and the quality you should develop, attain that yoga. No? That's why they said, somebody said, I have told so many things about it. It's a very vast subject, it's not a small subject. That devotion to devotion to for the purpose of devotion. Devotion for the purpose of devotion. Living. Now, suppose I translate it into another sentence. Living for the purpose of living. Devotion for the purpose of devotion. So, the same thing can be put into any of the activity that we are doing. Living for the purpose of living. What is called living? Living in the vein means that we complete the life in the right perspective of that it has been designed is called living. Otherwise we are saying not living. It's not. When you are writing only you can say you are writing. When you are not writing you cannot say you are writing. So when you are living only you can say you are living. When you are not living, how can you say you are living? And what is the meaning of living? Living in the sense, that which is a jivatma that we have acquired, you travel through the process of the incidents and events that has been programmed when it was born. The jivatma was born. What for? For the purpose of liberation. Why are you living? Why are you writing? To complete the writing. Is it not? Why are you reading the book? To attain the knowledge and finish the reading of the book. Not that you will keep on reading the same page for 10 years. That's not the purpose, is it not? You want to finish it. You want to know everything. That's the purpose. You are walking for what? To reach somewhere, not for the purpose of walking. You are traveling to reach somewhere, not for the... Why I am saying all these things? I want to make you conscious. What is devotion for the purpose of devotion? So in everything it is applicable is what I am trying to tell you. You are walking in order to attain to reach the destination, not for the purpose of walking. You are eating, not for the purpose of eating that you are eating actually, you are for the purpose of keeping the body in order to execute your karma in the right process is why you are eating. You are thinking, you are doing, you are writing, so now you can understand about each and every small thing you are doing for the purpose of liberation. This is why I told you some time back, every activity in this world, in this universe, is a spiritual activity only. There is nothing called materialism, actually speaking. Even though we have divided into two, it's very right, as I said, for the purpose of studies and education, it has to be bifurcated so that now people understand what is the meaning of material achievement and spiritual achievement. Actually, material achievement is also a spiritualism. This, who understands, the one who has really understood the spirituality in true sense, can understand the materialism is nothing but spiritualism. If I identify materialism as only as materialist, it is like siddha and the devotee. He will be only a siddha. To attain a particular small field of activity in the life, in the living. What is that? Earning money is one small activity. Absolutely a very minute activity. Because that is not the final result that what you require. Earning money is not a final result that you require. It's a beginning of something. So what happens in everything, in anything that which is not complete or final, Purnata has to be there. All other things are what? All other things are in the process of that. They are all sidhis. So whenever you say, I am earning money for the purpose of living, you should ask, why are you earning money? Immediately the question should come, why money is required for living? So, then you will analyze it. Money is for this, money is for this, money is for this, money is for this. Now that what you want out of money, what is that meant for? From money what you can buy? You can buy material, you can buy things, you can buy eatables, you can buy clothes, you can buy house, you can buy this, you can buy that, you can buy that. Then, what do I need? Living. What is the meaning of living? Living is liberation. For the purpose of liberation, buying XYZ, will it be sufficient? That may be required. To a certain extent it is required. Food items I have to buy. No doubt I have to eat. Fine, it is required, no doubt about it. But what happened? The importance of that, the magnitude of that requirement of money, you will find is very small at that time. Why do you require it? For survival. How much? This. What is survival? Survival is that survival of the sharira, survival of the mana. It should have a good health so that you can execute your karmas. Now what a karma you will execute out of this? This. Then what? Then what? Then what? Then finally the liberation from this body and the mind. So what is the ultimate? Living means what? If a person who has lived properly, the purpose of life is for living. If a person has lived properly in the right sense with the dharmic way of living, he will liberate himself once for all once he leaves the body and the mind. Why are you writing? To finish the letter or finish the article. After finishing the article, the writing should be over. After article is finished, there is no more writing left. After writing the letter, at least letter should be over. If it is not over, if there are mistakes, you have to repeat it, you have to correct it, you have to repeat it, you have to overwrite it, whatever it is. No? So it's no more completion. So when you compare that, devotion for the purpose of devotion, living for the purpose of living. Living for the purpose of living. Why? Because living is necessary for liberation. Living is necessary for liberation. If I don't live, I will not get liberated. So I have to live. It's a compulsion. You see. If it is a compulsion, what we will do? Normally when there is some compulsion, देखो, unless you write this, बच्चों को बोलते हैं, unless you write this, you will not get your ice cream or food, whatever it is. Let me finish it fast. And it should be right also. I will check. Not that you will just write and come for food. No. I will check that it is right. So let me finish it fast. And let me do it properly and let me finish it fast. Let me do it properly, let me finish it fast should be the purpose of living. The right way of living, the dharmic way of living. Not that fiddling around with the pen and paper and write something else, play with that, or in between watch the TV, or or draw a picture of something and then write 2 words, again you play with it. No, because I have to finish it. I have to finish it properly also, because he'll check it, then only I'll get food. See, now unless you finish it, you will not get that. Unless you live, you cannot get liberation. Now what is that living? Living is the dharmic way of living, not like any way of living. This is where we failed, because we did not understand. We means people who are not gone through this. People have not understood what is the proper way of living. They think that, we have got life, I have got my own body, I have got my own material, so I can do whatever I want. the way what I am thinking. No, I do not know what I am supposed to do, but I am doing things. Because one has to do things because the day comes, night comes, and again day comes, so one has to do something. Without knowing things, and when you are getting up in the morning, do you know what you are going to do in that day? Nothing. Yogi knows what he is going to do. Yogi knows what will be the result of that, what he has done. It's called living dharmic way of living. This has to be done. This has to be done. Upanishadic way of living, dharmic way of living, Vedic way of living has to be done. Then only we will be in a position to attain the liberation. I am not saying that it is a compulsion. Nowhere in Vedas and Upanishads they have told you must live. Yes, you must live. I added that. You must live like this for the purpose of this. That is it. Otherwise, one can lead their life the way they want, no problem. But then they will have to attain that only the way they have lived. That only they will attain. So the dharmic way of living, that's why I said practices of the devotion for the sake of devotion. Living for the sake of living has to be done. Live properly so that I can finish my living. The activity of living should be completed when I get liberated. Otherwise, the activity of living will always be there. Then again, I have to take a birth in order to continue with living. Because I have not completed the living. This is what is our Shastra saying is karma and karma phala. What is the continuity of living? Is a karma phala. This many people do not, many people do not accept it. First of all, many people do not accept that there is another life. Another life means acquirement of another experience by another, through another body, another field of activity, another methodology of living. This many people do not believe, first of all. How will I complete the living if I don't live? So in this process, when you see there is a continuity of living. Actually, it's a continuity of living, even though we call it as, by words, we call it as punar janmam. Punar janmam. Punarapi jananam. Punarapi maranam. Even though it is known as punar janmam, janma of what? Which can be born is called janma. That which can be born. That's why in Sanskrit, it becomes a totally different meaning. Punar janmam. That which can be born has to be reborn again. That which is a constant factor is not born again. Those which are not constant, temporary factors, which are not constant factors, which are only peripheries of the factors, that only is born. That which can be created, manifested only can be born. That which is truth cannot be born. It is born. So it's there, already there. So what is to be born? Born is that which is Sharira and Mana. Prana is not born. It's a constant factor. So that Punarjanmam, that's why it is known as Punarjanma. Janma means that which has got the capability of being born is only reborn. That which doesn't have a capability of rebirth, because which is a constant factor already, the breeze will not be have a Punarjanma. Because it doesn't have a body. Breeze is by itself is complete. It has not acquired another body or a mind or another paraphernalia in order to experience. So breeze, the breeze of 1,000 years back or 20,000 years back, and the breeze of today also, we call it as breeze only. We don't call it as that was the grandfather of breeze, and then the other breeze has come. Then the grandson breeze has come. The grandson got married, another breeze has come from that. No, we don't say that. Because it's a constant factor. So their Punarjanma is not there. Then Punarjanma, is it right or wrong? Many people argue on that Punarjanma is not there. That constant factor, in order to function in a world of Maya, in a world of activity. What is Maya? In a world of activity, an upadhi, an instrument is necessary for it to function. That has to be created, manifested, is called reborn, rebirth. Very good. Is it clear? Absolutely. It is absolutely necessary, because that instrument, without that instrument, this cannot have the experience of living and completing the life, and then the liberation doesn't take place. Liberation of that which is a constant factor. Who gets liberated? Body doesn't get liberated. Mind doesn't get liberated. Prana get liberated. Because these are punarjanmas or janmas. The janmas are meant only for the purpose of association, for the purpose of experiencing the living, for the constant factor which is known as prana or jivatma, whichever it is, prana or jivatma, same thing. In order to have that. So that's why the punarjanma is called. So in order to have the liberation, you see, otherwise what happens? The continuity has to be there. In order to have the continuity, the same instrument of body and mind cannot be used, because it has got a wear and tear, and it has got a specified time only this can be used. So this jivatma or the prana has to discard this which is only temporary and attain another new one in order to continue his experience. This is very important. In order to continue his experience, I have to change the train. We say no, or flight. Okay. At a particular destination, because it doesn't go straight. Distance is too high. Fuel, no, you cannot have so much of fuel in the aircraft, and so it can fly only up to that point. There you have to change the aircraft and go in another plane to somewhere else. This is necessary. Who is traveling? You are traveling. That is, there is the factor is same. Yeah. Who travel? The same person who traveled from destination A to destination B is the one who is flying, going to from B to C and C to D. Everything is same. But the vehicle is different, because that cannot carry you so far. It doesn't have the facility for taking you so long. That's not possible. So the vehicle has to be different. It's called punarjanma. The concept is absolutely clear. Our shastras are absolutely wonderful in that way. It is a continuity of journey. Who is traveling? He is traveling from point A to point D. Even though the vehicles have been different, 3 vehicles have been different, by the time you reach from point A to point D. But traveler is only one. Same way, your jivatma is one, your prana is one, your jivatma is one. The experiencer is only one. Even though you are born as this person, you are born as another person, you are born as another person, you are born as another person. For material seeing, we see them as different persons, whereas he is the same person. So we can understand these things very well, because, many people don't want to believe it. That's a different thing. Because they have not experienced, scientist doesn't know, his experiments have not reached to that extent. But nowadays, some of the scientists have found out there has to be a continuity, and it is true. Near-death experience and all that, initially medical science were not approving it. But now they say that yes, there is a experience called near-death experience. One travels, he sees the death and all that. Who is that he is seeing death? It is possible, and he comes back and he expresses what all have happened. Absolutely clear. So many near-death experiences have done. So initially people were not believing, because there was no data that can be acquired when the evaporation takes place or when the operation takes place. That cannot be seen. As I said, breeze doesn't have another birth, so prana doesn't have another birth. It's the same prana with experiences. Is he rejecting the body? So who is seeing it? There is someone seeing it. Who is that someone? I only, my prana. Jivatma only. Same way, this medical science started after so many incidents that took place. Today medical science believes that there is a near-death experience, life after death and things like that. There are things. Even in Bhagavatam, it has been told when Bhagavan, when Lord Krishna was being born in the jail, Devaki and Vasudeva. Devaki and Vasudeva, they were telling that why we have another child. No, they have forgotten why we have another child again for that Asura to kill. Why Bhagavan? Why you are merciless? They were praying from the heart, but they can't see so many children being killed in presence of them in their own eyes. You see, so said that please release us from this sin. So Bhagavan appears. Okay, maybe a story. Fine. Bhagavan appears and tells that, hey, you only wanted this. You told me 3 births before that you should be born as I should be born. No, somebody equivalent to you should be. This is what Aditi, and one Janma, and second Janma somebody else. Third Janma is the Devaki. So you in such and such, I forgot the name. You in such and such Janma, you requested me that somebody who is like Prashasti, Divyata, and qualities, gunas and everything, you see, all this what you have, I should have a child that in my womb. So Bhagavan said, there is no one second to me. So I only have to be born. So he is born in 3 consecutive Janmas of this one. This was the 3rd Janma with Devaki. In her Garbha, Bhagavan says, look, I am being born in that. But you don't remember, you were, Maharishi Kashyap. In the previous birth, you were Maharishi Kashyap, Vasudeva. And his wife was his wife. Okay, whatever it is. So you were that. And at that point of time, you knew about it. And now you are not aware of it. Even though you are Vasudeva and this one, you were Rishi Kashyapa. So Vasudeva and Kashyapa is what? Are the same person. But to you and me and the people who are seeing, or for himself, he is Vasudeva. Actually, who is he? He is somebody else. Even though you are not able to recognize you are the same person, and I am being born to you the 3rd time. Is what Bhagavan says. Why I am saying all this is to give you that importance of that sharir, because we don't remember that who are you? You are that same person who are that. And because of this karma bhala, the continuity has to be there in your life, in living, your continuity has to be there. So in order to have the continuity, you have acquired the Sharira, whom you call today as Vasudeva. That's all. But you are the same person. Same way, we are all continuing the living, because we are not completed. We have to get liberated from this living. So liberation can be done only at the end of living, only the liberation will be there. Unless you don't complete living, how can you get liberated? So in order to complete the living, you have to complete the living in all its qualities in the right manner. In fact, the process of living is very simple. The process of true living is very simple. It's a human who has created all these confusions and complications. Otherwise it is not, we cannot say, oh, the dharmic way of living, the words and all we don't understand, so we say, the dharmic way of living, that all we cannot do. Upanishadic way of living, no, how can I do it? Vedic way of living, I cannot do it. Even a most illiterate person can do it. For that, no other knowledge is required. Dharmic way of living. It is possible. Bhagavan is explaining further on these things, how it is beautiful. So why I am saying that, why did I wanted to postpone this sloka to be explained, is because I wanted to explain you that the devotion for the devotion's sake, for the sake of devotion. So in each and every activity of ours, every human being, what does it mean? Bhagavan means when he told to Uddhava, that do you mean that all the people should become, keep on devoting yourself to Samarpanam Bhava? You have to attain, even if you want to do Samarpanam, can you do it? Are you able to do it? Even though we all know. We all know the meaning of it, we all know the purpose of it, we all know it is right. Are you able to do the Samarpanam? No. There the disbelief comes, there ego comes, there the expectation comes, then there your possession comes, then no, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, everything comes at that point of time, at the right point of time. Devotion is not possible. So he knows that, Bhagavan knows when it is told to Uddhava that it is not possible by every human being. So hey Uddhava, devotion for the purpose of devotion should be done. That means this example should be carried forward to each and every activity of drinking water should be done for the purpose of drinking water. Now, let me translate. That means you have to do it honestly. What is it honestly? Body requires water, you feel thirsty, you take 1 glass of water, 2 glasses of water and quench the thirst. For that you have to drink water and you have to drink in the right sense. At that point of time when you are feeling thirsty, just for example I am saying, drinking a Coca-Cola is a violation of the living, for the sake of saying. It's a violation of law. Why? Because along with the liquid that you are supposed to take, whereas clean water will quench the thirst. Why? Because the fulfillment of the quantity of water that is required for the body, when it is being fulfilled, the sensory system in our throat is the one which is indicating us that our water level in the body has gone down. See, we don't have to go and check in the laboratory with the doctor, look at my content of water, whether it is still 90% or it has reduced to 60%. Do we check? No, check. We have got an instrument already here. So when your instrument says drink water, you drink water because it requires 100% water replacement there. And the same replacement of water, 1 glass of water to compensate 1 glass of water, how many colas you have to drink? Maybe 10, maybe 15, because the water content in that may be only to that extent. And that water content is contaminated with many other things, many chemicals and other things, which may also absorb the water from the body, not giving water to the body. So when water has to be taken, I am just telling you an example of this proper way of living. So when you have to drink, that means when the water content is less in the body, you have to compensate it only with water. That's called dharmic way of living. That's all. Simple. दूध अच्छा है शरीर के लिए, तो जब प्यास लगेगा दूध पियो. कोई बोलता है? Nobody says that. Even though घर में बहुत दूध है, ठीक है. Maybe you may be having 10-15 cows in the house. Old days, used to have, हर घर में होता है ना, so many cows आते हैं. Big goshala is there, big houses. There were so many cows, so much of milk, so many liters of milk. Whenever you have, प्यास लगे तो दूध पीना, पानी मत पियो. क्या होगा? हालत. It's not disciplined way of living, it's not a dharmic way of living. You should drink milk for the purpose of milk. Fine, no problem. Not for compensating the water. For water, you have to drink only water. You understood now? The way you are to behave, the thought that you are now only, I have said to come only the material. The thought that you are supposed to think only, you should think. Is the dharmic way of living. Adharmam should not come to the mind or should not activate. Dharmam chara, satyam vada. Thought level. When the thought level itself, what I am supposed to think only, if I train myself in order to do that, I will automatically do what I am thinking. So in each and everything, devotion for the sake of devotion will automatically happen, is what I am trying to tell. So, hey Uddhava, Bhagavan says, inherently, the inner meaning of it, or the one which is not visible in the forefront, but the Gupta, Guhya Bhaga of this is that tell the human being, whatever he does it, do it for the purpose of that. He should be aware of it. When that happens, what happens? The living will become the true living. When the true living takes place, what happens? Then the liberation takes place. Then what happens? The devotion takes place. The devotion for the purpose of devotion. Because when the requirement for the body and the shamana is no more there, the devotion becomes complete. Who becomes an obstacle in between for devotion? My ahankara, my avidya, jnanam becomes an obstacle for this. Why? Because, I need this, if I do this one, what will happen to me? My importance is lost, or my wealth is lost, or my health is lost, or my that is lost. No, I will not have this, I will not have this, I will not have this. Becomes an assay, I want to be a siddha. That's the thing. Bhagavan says, devotion for the sake of devotion. I repeat number of times. Why? Because this should go into your mind. So why devotion for devotion is not only for the purpose of tapsya or meditation, for the purpose of write. What you write what you are supposed to write only. It's not we do that. When I am supposed to write an article on such and such thing, I do not mix with some other subject and mix with it. Then what happens? The man who sees that, he will see that it is incorrect. Even though what you have done is very high intelligent matter, in medical science you have put the engineering calculations. The man who sees that this is not medical science. Even though you must have the input of data that you have provided, maybe the superior of engineering. But it doesn't fulfill the purpose of medicine. You understand what I am saying? So when you are writing that article, the article should be meant only for medicine. This article should be meant for only engineering. This should be meant only for this expression. This. Thought has to be formed in that manner. So when I say devotion for the purpose of, for the sake of devotion, we understand that same way. But this is meant for little people who have gone up, risen in the level of understanding. The man who understands about the kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, which are only the obstacles of ours, and we should go for samarpana bhava. This basic concept has to be understood. Then only a person will understand the meaning of devotion for devotion, or water for water, hair for hair, or karma for karma. Karma, do karma as a karma, not as a karma, he said, Bhagavan said. That you are doing it. This has to be done. This is going on, it's being done. That's all. I do not have, why? Because I do not have an expectation from them. A guna should not be contributed. No, virtues should not be attributed to the execution of the function that you are doing in the process of living. Then it doesn't become living, it will become a manifested living. It's not living. Living is a process which is very smooth and automatically going on if you do not create obstacles. We don't have to learn how to live. Living will go on. Then why it becomes difficult? Because we create obstacles is why. Living is already there, that has been programmed. That is why the Jivatma has taken a rebirth and taken a Sharira manner with all calculations, with all precisions, with all the purpose, with everything detailed and charted out. It has born. And so if it has born like that, it will go. For us, what happened? The intelligence has come in between. The manifestations have come in between. So I reoriented and rerouted and remolded and remanifested our lives with the Sharira and Mana. So automatically happens what? The living doesn't become complete. It becomes a continuous nature. So a continuity has to be done. Then you have to take, that's why it is known as a rebirth. Hey Uddhava, make these fools conscious about it. Then what happens? The devotion. Then once all this living is done, the purpose of the kartavya is completed, he in the process of living itself, he will start devoting to the Ishvara. He will execute. Even a person who is doing a sannyasa also has to complete his kartavyas. He takes care of whatever kartavya has been assigned to him, because that's the purpose he has taken the life. So he has to complete it. So during the process this is being done, and the one who does it faster, he goes into the devotion, and when he devotes himself through and through, he attains that Brahman and he becomes one yoga yujyate with the Ishwaratvam, Ishwara or Brahman. Hey Uttava, that is called the yoga. Everyone is living to become the yogi. Yogi with the Ishvara. Unfortunately, we do wrong things, and wrong means which is not dharma, which is not designed, which creates only obstacles, and we create obstacles in every thought and every karma. We create obstacles, so they become a process of delay in completing your living. Is why the continuity of living has to be done. Is why the Punar Janma is necessary. Why somebody's age is 80 years, why somebody is 120, another is 60 years only, 130 years only, 150 years only. Why? Because of that. Because while you are born, you have decided, approximately we also say no. Suppose you want to travel so much, okay. How many liters of petrol you will require? 20 kilometers means okay, so many, we have a calculation depending upon the, so many liters of petrol, so that is good enough. And a calculation, little extra pour, okay, so that in case of necessity. This is how you are taken birth. I have to have only 80 years, 70 years, 80 years, 75 years, 71 years. I have calculated, I have come. Now what happens? Depending on that calculation, that instrument that you have created will have parameters of that only. When a medicine is made, they say 15 months of shelf life. He knows the chemicals that he has added has got these properties. Because of these activities or chemical reaction, the impact of this will go off. So the shelf life is only 15 months. So he makes that medicine only for 15 months and labels it for 15 months, finished. After that, the impact of that medicine is gone, finished. I mean, the properties are lost, right? Same way, when a vehicle is made that this will last for so many years. After that, this cannot function. The engine has to be changed, the motor has to be changed, or engine has to be changed, and things like that. There is a specific time for that, you see. For everything, there is a specific time. Same way, when the prana knows that these are the karmas I am supposed to execute according to karma bhala in this janma, I need only, at that time, I am not thinking about the obstacles that I will be creating. I am only thinking that with all the parameters, with all the allowances, with little bit here and there, deviation and all that, traffic jam, I will require so many years of life. So the Atma or the Prana or the Jivatma will require a body or design a manifested body only for those many years with a little allowance. Is why different ages are there. And in that time one is supposed to finish it actually. Because that's a designed. That's why I say the designed life, the designed number of years of life. So in that designed number of life, that means if we are not completing, it is not because of that design was wrong, it is because that the inclusion of the obstacles and parameters by the individual was so high, but the body is designed only up to that. So the body has to come to an end there, body and mind will finish there. Activity has not been finished, that is left out. So in order to fulfill that, the prana will design another body for another 80 years. Okay, last experience was bad. Let me put 10% more on that. So, instead of 50 years, 55, 70. 70 लगा दिया, कोई बात नहीं. Now the next that man is more intelligent. He made only 20% mistakes in the last Janma. This Janma, because he has got more life, he has made 50% mistakes. So, Prana designed another body at the end of it. Now, you see, what happens? Continuity takes place. See, why? Only because you did not complete that assigned projects, the activities in your own designed time. Nobody else, God has not designed, Bhagavan हमको सिर्फ 50 साल दिया है, 20 साल दिया है. No. You have done it. You wanted so many years, you got it. Because you manifested the body. But you could not complete it. Is why the continuity of life and living has to be there. Body may not be there, but the life and living will be there. That's why I said that whatever you learn, it will be a continuous process. I always say that. No? Whatever you have learned will never be lost. It's a continuous process because it is not your memory cells that which is keeping it. That which are really rooted, absolutely inherent, that knowledge what we call jnanam. I'm not talking about learning the physical training like driving, swimming and things like that. Even that also is there. Somebody says he's a born dancer. He's a born singer. Where he has the taste of singing, the voice, the talent. Where you get the talent from? By birth. From where? You had the continuity of it. Only thing here, little more, since it is a new manifested body and manner, little training is necessary for the new ones. Even though the driver is old, car you change. Even though you change he is a good driver in the previous car, it was smaller car. Then next time when you were born, you bought a Mercedes. Now you have to get adjusted to that bigger car and its adjustments and driving and the other control parameters and all that. It takes the same way. The singer, even though was a good singer, the taste is there. The talent is there, but this body which you have acquired requires that talent to be accommodated inside. So little training is necessary. Is why we say somebody is a born singer, born dancer, born artist, born so and so, born so and so. How do we say that? It's because of the continuity. Only thing that the new vehicle requires little adjustments that you have to practice. That's all what is necessary. So Bhagavan says it's a continuity. Why do you want to continue? Is what ultimately is asking. So when you do devotion for the sake of devotion, liberation is automatic. Yoga is automatic. Liberation is automatic. Same way, when you start living for the purpose of living, for the way of living, for the sake of living. We are not living for the sake of living. We are all saying that we are doing this for the sake of living. We are doing that for the sake of living. We are eating for the sake of living. We are earning money for the sake of living. This is what we are saying. We are not saying we are living for the sake of living. When you are for the money you are living means, once the money is given, your living is complete. Then you find the living is not complete. Because that is not the purpose. When your health is okay, 100 years, I have not even gone once to the doctor. What is the use of your living 100 years? You have not gone to the doctor. Just joking. So साल से क्या हुआ? हम बिल्कुल भैया you live 100 years, enough of burden on the. So उसके बाद में क्या जीना है तुमको? Whether you are healthy or not. No? I'm just joking. Okay. So what I'm saying is that the living is not complete. 100 years. He thinks that health is. Why I'm saying this one? He thought health is important. He acquired health. 100 years. No specs is required. Big qualification. अरे specs लगाओ ना 30 में. उसमें क्या है? क्या है? 30 years में specs लगाओ. Complete your karma and get lost. 100 साल 20 साल specs आज तक specs यूज नहीं किया. हम अभी भी जिंदा है. कितना साल उम्र है? 110. किसके लिए? What? इससे अच्छा specs यूज करो ना. And could you get my idea behind? I mean, what I purpose behind talking of this? It's okay. Nothing. Or somebody thinks, okay, that is important to the life. So he thought health is important to the life. I'm not blaming that person. Okay, health is important to life. He got health. Wealth is important. He got wealth. Or something else is important. He thought of qualifying, educating, learning. So much. He's become a scholar. PhD of this, PhD of that, PhD of this. Doctorate on this. Then rotting. क्या हुआ? 3 PhDs are there. क्या हुआ? Job नहीं है. So many people are there. 3 PhDs are there. काम नहीं है, खाने को नहीं है. He has given. I'm not blaming. I'm not saying that one should not study. He has wanted that PhD. He is a scholar, no doubt about it. कोई doubt नहीं है, बिल्कुल नहीं. No doubt at all. He is a scholar. He has got 3 doctorates. He is absolutely knowledgeable on that. But he is not living the way he is supposed to live. It's not a dharmic way of living he is doing. There's an imbalance there somewhere. That's why this problem has come. I'm just telling plus and minus, good and bad things in life, what we are doing, thinking that it is that the best, It's not that. The purpose of living, I don't say that one should not study. If you are supposed to study, if you are supposed to become a doctorate, you have to become a doctorate. Fine. Nothing wrong. But are you dharmic way of living? For that, another study is required. This is why Bhagavan says this. Because he has not executed the living in the right way of living. Am I clear? I have given so much of importance to this particular sloka because one should not misunderstand this is only for the purpose of meditation and तो ठीक है हम लोग तो कहाँ इतना सन्यासी थोड़ी है छोटा ये तो this is meant for sannyasis, devotion for devotion, ठीक है. No, that's what I said. Even for smallest rock, even for a smallest pebble, how it has to roll has been designed. It will roll only like that. how it has to function has been designed by itself. Living dharmic way, that's why dharmic way of living. You should have the idea of dharmic way of living, and one should have this. That's why these studies are required. Guru is necessary so that in case we do not know, everything cannot be known by human beings. So there has to be a mentor, there has to be a preceptor who has to lead you and guide you and teach you. And these are dharmic way of living. Along with that, activities will be there, mistakes will be there, human beings are there, attraction, little bit of deviations will be there. But deviations can be, so it's okay, it can be like this, like this, like this. May not be doing it like that, it's not possible, maybe. Slight variation. Cannot go totally out of way and get lost from the way. That should not happen. Whenever you go out of the way, you should know how to come back. That's all. That's all. Go only that far that you can come back anytime you want. That much of deviation only you should prefer. Don't go very far away so that you get lost and you don't know how to come back. That should not happen. This is what Bhagavan is telling Uddhava to explain to the people concerned this way. So in the next sloka, now this will continue. You can continue, keep on talking each and every example. Incidents, and there are so many things in our life. I just told you a few examples, and there is this connected with the life, it connected with the Jivatma, pregnancy, giving birth to the children, bringing up children, everything can be connected with that. Lot of things can be connected. It will be a big chapter, of course. Well, I given you the idea. I will go to the next one. Janmaushadi Pato Janmaushadi Tapo Mantrair Tyavatrirya Siddhaya Yogena Apnetita Yogena Apnotita Sarva Nanyair Yoga Gatim Prajet Janmaushadi Tapo Mantra. We just told about that. Just now we spoke on that. Through that yoga, which yoga? What is he referring to? Through that yoga, which yoga? He is telling through that yoga. Which yoga? What is he referring to? You have explained now. We are talking on that only. Devotion for the sake of devotion. Not devotion. Devotion for the sake of devotion. Through that yoga. That's what he's referring to. So you're not concentrating. Through that yoga, one obtains all those powers which come to men. See, we just told that. Through that yoga, one obtains all those powers which come to men through birth, drugs, means medication, health and drugs, austerities or mantras, but one cannot attain that yoga by any other means. Through that yoga, devotion by devotion, one attains. Even though one has to take a rebirth, but one attains what? By birth, or that yoga, that benefit, but that what you get by drugs, by taking medication or drugs, or by austerities that you do, whatever benefit you derive out of austerities, or those sidhis, benefits means sidhis, all those sidhis which you get out of mantras, everything one can attain that yoga by means of other means. That means in all other things can be, when you are doing this yoga, that means devotion for the sake of devotion, when you are merging with the Lord in the yoga, you acquire all these powers without asking for it, without specifying for it. You get all this, but another thing is to remember, if you do only yoga with the siddhi, you will never attain the yoga with the Yogeshwara. Please remember that is what he is trying to tell us. He gives a small write-up here that I will read it to you. An echo of Patanjali's yoga aphorism 4.1. Some are born with those powers. We talked about it. Some are born with those powers because he had been having those powers. So he had been born by that. Example, the gods, fish can live in water, birds can fly in the air, and so on. So these are all from the kala that is there. You see, the small bird from the nest, how it flies, try to fly and automatically flies. This is all there. It is there in them. So certain medicines are said to confer extraordinary powers. Some of the leaves, some of the herbs, they say that iska ek chamach ka le lo roj. The same plant, there are so many plants in that area of 1 kilometer square. Various things are there, but this particular plant have got high medicinal value. The herbs or the leaf or the flower or the seed or whatever it is, or the root, usko le lo to itna power. So this is also, they say, from the previous birth's experience. It is also not just has come, it had acquired these powers. So they are great source of these savers. They are all, those atmas or those pranas are great saints for the purpose of the service to the humanity. They are born as the plants also. I mean, that quality is there in them. Extraordinary powers. Then, mortifications also develop them, and also certain mantras. We talked about mantras, how powerful the mantras are. Anything can be done by mantras. We said about locking the gate. We said about many other things can be transformed. Chanting of mantra, the Maharishi does the curse. Okay. You Ahalya, you become stone for so many years. Shaba Mukti, Bhagavan has to come, put his feet, then you will become alright. How he has done the Shaba? Just by chanting 4 lines of mantra. Some apsaras have become, because of the curse, they have become like that. Uddhara of that curse, just Swami Maharishi chants 4 lines of mantras, puts the water, come on, revived. What can't be done? Anything can be done. The whole universe can be changed by the mantras. So much of powers are there. Great powers are that. So extraordinary powers of this, also the certain mantras. The effects of these are all, Bhagavan says, okay, everything is there. The effects of all these are what? Short-lived. There's a limitation. Ahalya can be stored only to certain extent, sometime. Then Uddhara has to be done. Aushadhi to certain time. Or any other impact effects of that, like capacity to fly, capacity to swim. All have got, he says, effects of these are all short-lived, but perfect concentration on the Lord, samadhi, that means devotion for the purpose of devotion. If it is done through pure devotion, confers liberation. So what is his opinion? He has written there. Okay. Now, it's beautiful. These 2 shlokas are, I find, it's wonderful for any human being, from even one who is starting from the scratch of the learning of the Upanishad or Vedic science. It is very important, and one can understand this in this language what we have explained, even though it is very difficult to understand from this. But if one can follow this path of living like this, then attain that, one can attain the absoluteness here. So, 2 more slokas are there in this chapter. This we will explain in the next class. So I finished 33 and 34. Next class we will do 35. Okay, please keep it.